Now, I know I said in my last episode that the next time you'd see me, I'd be in my new house. But I just couldn't leave my enchanted garden without capturing its magic one last time. So this episode is one that I've been meaning to share for a while, touching on the topic of plant spirits or allies and weaving a little fairy folk magic by crafting some herbal smoke wands. I'll be sharing 10 different herbs and flowers that have really cast their spell over me in recent years, reaching out in the way plant spirits do and comfortably nestling into my everyday life and herbal practice. I wanted to spend my last few days in this garden with them, honouring them, saying goodbye, and thanking them for the deep magic and ancient wisdom they have shared with me over the years. A plant ally is one that you form a close relationship with, much like a dear friend that appears in your life when you need them most and supports you as you move through life's inevitable twists and turns. These are the plants I use almost daily, from herbal hair oils and body scrub bars to spell jars and charm bags. Many of them I raised from tiny seeds or propagated from cuttings from my mother's garden, and so they really do feel like family. If you watched my Australian fairy tale episode, you'll know that I believe each plant has its own spirit, a fairy if you fancy, that we can see with our childlike imagination and communicate with, not with words, but with a heart song, the language of the forest. This loving telepathic connection with the plants is really the essence of fairy folk magic and intuitive herbalism. I just had to begin with Starflower, otherwise known as borage, the plant spirit that started it all. Historically, she is described as a comfort to the heart, dispelling melancholy and offering great courage. She is used to assist in the final stages of labour when a mother is nearing exhaustion but needs to summon all her strength for that courageous final push. And so she is a wonderful herb to help artists giving birth to new creations. It was with this flower essence, prepared in a tincture by 3 wise women I know, that the idea for this channel and my book Wild Fairy Magic was born. I just love the way her petals form the shape of a star, reminding me of my soul's mission and that I too am a child of the stars every time I walk past her in the garden. I don't think any cottage witch's garden would be complete without the spirit of lavender. This dainty purple princess of a herb works very intelligently with the nervous system, relaxing the mind and body and soothing anxiety, insomnia, grief and exhaustion. She is the ultimate comfort to the weary soul and the broken-hearted, and I use her magic every single day. I use lavender in herbal bath soaks and hot steamy teas at bedtime. I have a very well-loved lavender eye pillow for my meditation practice and also use her to make herbal honey and lemonade. And I always have some lavender on hand to help my beloved familiar Noah with his thunderstorm anxiety. Sage is a plant spirit that grows in abundance in my garden. At last count, I was growing 12 different varieties, and I love each and every one for their unique properties and incredible fragrance. My Celtic ancestors would have used this kind of sage, Salvia officinalis, in their herbal smoke rituals, along with rosemary and other herbs, in a kind of folk magic called seining. I find it fascinating that cultures on opposite sides of the world developed such strikingly similar practices without the ability to communicate over such a vast distance. To me, this hints at a divine interconnectivity and makes me wonder about the role of that microscopic information superhighway of the green world, the mycelial network, and the possibility that it was the plants that passed on this ancient wisdom to the humans. I will speak more on the Celtic practice of seining a little later in this episode, but for now I wanted to give the spirit of purple velvet her time in the spotlight, for her presence in my garden has been an absolute delight each autumn, and she's a bit of a wild card in my herbal practice because she's mostly known as a cottage garden flower. But she's not just a pretty face, sharing the same magical properties as sage, and she makes a rather fabulous herbal smoke wand for cleansing. Next up, we have the spirit of rosemary, and oh how I love this herb. Magically, she is the herb of memory, and because this is associated with retention, she can also be used to treat hair loss. I promised in another video to share my recipe for a mermaid hair spell and rosemary serum that I used to grow my hair back after a series of unfortunate events. And I will, I promise, as soon as I locate the box where I packed my spell book. As well as being an incredible culinary herb, rosemary helps clear stagnancy in the mind, emotions and body, and helps me with mental clarity and the cloudy thinking and brain fog that so often accompanies my neurological disorder. Number 6 on my list of favourite plant spirits is Calendula, the sunny yellow flower that makes my skin dewy, soft and youthful. I grew these flowers from tiny seeds last autumn, and they have peeped their joyful faces out from every corner of my garden. I like to add the petals to juices, smoothies, salads and herbal teas, and of course use her in lip balms, salves and body butters. I think Calendula came into my life to keep me young and cheerful. There's definitely something cheeky and bewitching about this tiny, unassuming little herb, beloved by the fae folk for her teeny weeny leaves and delicate flowers. Thyme is known to dispel melancholy and other mellow negative energies, so it's no wonder I can almost hear the fairies giggle with delight when I brush my hands over this herb. I always keep a sprig of thyme handy for connecting with the fae or crafting little gifts. The Lemonbalm fairy cast her spell over me one day on a walk through the fern forest, and since then has been a constant companion. I recently watched an episode of Danu's Irish Herb Garden, where wise woman Terri Conroy describes the thrill of the lovely lemon sherbet taste when she sipped Lemonbalm tea for the first time. I'll leave the link below to her fantastic channel, but as always, she is so right, because Lemonbalm makes a delicious witchy brew that soothes anxiety, dispels melancholy, and heals emotional wounds. No plant spirit has ever captured my heart and my imagination quite like the rose, who continues to enchant me with every new bloom. Blame it on my poetic, romantic soul, but this flower, my fairy namesake, is the queen of my garden. Rose magic is a daily practice for me, from rosewater face mist in the morning to a seductive glamour spell upon dressing, rose tea in the afternoon, bathing in petals like a goddess under the full moon, and then perhaps in a naughty chocolate dessert at night time. Rose is the magic of lovers, beautiful and bewitching. She is used by witches and fairies for sensuality, seduction, and everything orgasmic and feminine. And you know, I love to stop and smell the roses at every opportunity, dreaming only of a rose garden so vast a girl could lose herself in it for days on end. Last of all is the spirit of Mugwort, who has been beckoning to me for many seasons now. Perhaps, as is the way of the plants, she knew I would come to her when the time was right. Used for dream work and enhancing psychic ability, Mugwort holds the key to summoning powerful prophetic visions. No wonder I haven't felt ready for her. I'm not sure if I can handle more. She is the ultimate hedge witch herb, and so, as the veil thins and my spooky Samhain birthday draws closer, I'm preparing a herbal infusion to help me walk the path between worlds on that most magical of nights. I've gathered little bundles of the rosemary, purple velvet, lavender and sage to make some herbal smoke wands, or seining sticks as the Fae folk would say. In Gaelic it means charm and was traditionally performed by making a crossing shape like the letter X with the smoke. To me, my relationship with these plants is so personal, having watched them grow from tiny seeds or cuttings, that making these wands will be a way to honour them and save a little bit of their magic to purify and bless my new home. A bit like a herbal housewarming party. Now, the white sage I'm using, whilst sharing a common ancestor, salvia, with the same sage the Celts would have used, is still of great cultural and spiritual significance to the indigenous people of other geographical regions. And so I would love to encourage you to work only with herbs that you have grown yourself and are used with respect to the cultures to whom they are sacred. There is, after all, a special bond that forms between the gardener and their plant allies, and this will always translate to a more powerful and intuitive form of herbal magic that is entirely your own, and this way your practice is as unique and special as you are. I so hope you enjoyed this episode, dear Wildflowers. It is by no means an exhaustive list of plant spirits that I love, nor have I been able to delve deeply enough into each of their magical and medicinal properties, for that would take me weeks. But I have loved sharing just a little hint of each one's secret life with you, for the wild green world will forever hold me in its thrall. I will share instructions for making herbal smoke wands with my wild roses over on Patreon, and look forward to chatting with a few of you next weekend in our witchy book club. But for now, my hands sticky with plant oils, I'm waving goodbye. See you next time, somewhere down the garden path and into the fairy forest.